Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here tonight. If you are new here, I want to thank you for stopping by, and I do want to give a thank you to all of the new subscribers. I really do appreciate your support. And for those of you who have been coming back weekly for the past year or two, I really do appreciate your support as well. Also, I do want to mention that private tarot readings are always available. All you have to do is email me. I will put my email in the description box, and I will get back to you. I do check my email every day, a couple times a day. So as soon as I see it, I will respond. Private readings are done very similar to a regular weekly reading, where I do record it and I go over the cards, the overall messages of the cards. I try to be as in-depth as possible. Any question is pretty much acceptable and on the table, or it can be just a general reading. And once I'm done, I upload it to YouTube, but I upload it to YouTube as a private unlisted video, and then I email you the link to your video. Once you have that link and that video is up, that is your link and your video to do with what you want. If you want to share it with someone, if you don't, that's totally fine. That video stays up unless you were to ask me to take it down, and I would oblige, of course. But that video stays up. It's for you, so you can go back and view it at your convenience and as often as you like. So that's how the private tarot readings are done. All right, so I was hoping to get this video up, Thursday night, but I didn't have an opportunity to do it, and so here we are today. I was asked to do a part 5 for Kiely Rodni because there is some new information that's coming out. I'm a little bit behind. That new information is probably no longer new information to you, but we now know that several of Kiely Rodni's personal possessions that were in her car apparently fell out of the car and were never retrieved by law enforcement, which I can say is an absolute disgrace. And I did do a reading on law enforcement, and I did pick up some corruption and some things that were going on there, and that's a concern. I don't know if this is just intentional negligence or if it's just incompetence or what it is. So that is going to be one of the main questions that I ask. Also, I've tried to give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt, and I think a lot of people have, and, but we're kind of getting to the point to where we're at the 3-strike limit. First and foremost, when they searched Prosser, and AWP came out, they told AWP that had already been eliminated. They've already been there. They've searched that. There's nothing there. They don't even need to go there. And thank God AWP did not take that advice. Thank God they decided to go in anyways. And, that's where they found her, right? So that's strike 1 and strike 2. The strike 2 was just overlooking her or not seeing her or not finding her, because I do believe that that car and Kiely was there when law enforcement searched Prosser. So that's concerning. That's very, very concerning. It seems like that area of the water is nice and clear. It looks like you can literally just look down and see the bottom of the lake. And so that's a concern that they missed her for so long. And then now we have strike 3, where they obviously left many of her personal possessions at the bottom of that reservoir, and that's just wow. That's just a wow, to be honest with you. I haven't watched too much because I haven't had the time. I do watch Michelle After Dark, and if you don't know who Michelle After Dark is, I absolutely recommend you go there. I love her. I rely on her. I don't know how she does it, because she puts up a video every day, sometimes more than one. But for however, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how she does it, but she is able to watch just about everyone on YouTube. And I tune into her because she is very good at summarizing everything that everyone has talked about. She'll hit the main points, okay? I don't know how many hours in a day she has. I know how many I have. I don't know how many she has, because she just seems to be going on all cylinders 24/7. And so I have watched her videos, and the other day when I was on my way to my mom's, I did in the car watch about the first hour and a half of Zav Girls Live, when she had, I think it's Doug from AWP. I don't know, I'm new to AWP, and the only episode I've watched is the one with Kiely, so I don't know the names of the guys yet. But he did pretty much say that, if they had recovered Kiely and Kiely's vehicle, they would have, number one, secured the windows, and they would have probably brought the car out on its roof, and tried to not disturb anything. And so now you have to wonder, was this whole thing botched? Did they destroy all evidence that this car potentially had? And when the results come out, they've indicated that they will release everything around or on or about November 1st. When that information comes out, can we trust it? Is it reliable? Okay, can we trust what they say, especially if they come out and say it's an accident? Because I think if they come out at this point and say it's an accident, we're all going to look at it like, something's wrong here. And so I just want this reading to primarily focus on law enforcement and the investigation side of things. But first and foremost, I want to ask, was this negligence? Was it incompetence? Was it intentional? What happened? Why were Kiely's things left in the reservoir? Why were they allowed to fall out of the car to begin with? And why were they left behind? Because law enforcement had plenty of time. It's been, almost 2 weeks since they pulled Kiely and her car out of that body of water. There's been plenty of time to go back and retrieve those personal items. Why haven't they? Why did it get to this point to begin with? So what's going on with this investigation? Why were those things left behind? Okay, Three of Swords. Five of Pentacles reversed. Strength card. The Justice. That's good that the Justice card is coming out. So I do feel like there is going to be justice in this case. We've got the Sun card. So far we've got a pretty decent lineup here towards the end. It's like, literally, I'm looking at this lineup, and it's like a really rocky start, but then things start to improve, and it just gets better as we go down. So I do feel like, this Three of Swords, of course, we all know the Three of Swords is betrayal and heartbreak and all those things, but we are focusing on law enforcement and the investigation. And so this actually makes me think of the entities that are working on this case. Okay, so the different agencies, whether it's FBI or California Highway Patrol or Placer County or Nevada County, whatever the case may be, I feel like those swords represent those different places. And with the overall meaning of this card, it makes me feel like they weren't on the same page. Okay, there was some sort of conflict. And there's one in particular that kind of stands out. That one in the middle makes me feel like there was one that was really kind of coming out and taking the lead. And the other two were just kind of standing on the sidelines and watching everything go down. So I don't know which one is which yet. But that might have been why there was some, errors, not some errors, but some major errors along the way, because I don't know, there's something about these different agencies working together, and I'm not getting a very good vibe, especially with it right next to this Five of Pentacles reversed. So again, the Five of Pentacles, that's, that can definitely represent health and financial issues and whatnot. But again, let's gear it towards investigation. I'm actually looking at those pentacles as Kiely's possessions. Okay, that's the way I'm looking at this card. And they're literally looking at it. It's almost like they knew they were there. That's what this card makes me feel like. Or the fact that it came out reversed, maybe they didn't know they were there. Maybe they just were so negligent, they didn't even think twice about it. Now, I find that hard to believe because I'm not sure, but I would imagine that law enforcement did watch AWP's episode. I would imagine somebody at least watched that episode, and they knew that images of that laptop and the hairbrush and other items are out here, right? They know that we've all seen those things. We've talked about it. We've talked about the laptop and the charger and, you know, what is this and can we make that out? We've all seen it. We've all talked about it. So they must have known that those things were in the car at one point when it was in the water. And when they took it out, they must have known that those things weren't in the car, because I'm sure that they have to inspect the car and take inventory of the car and take pictures and document everything. And there's got to be a point where you would think, well, wait a minute, we know that there probably was, at the very least, a laptop and a charger, and we don't have that, so where is that? And did that fall out during the extraction of the vehicle? This almost makes me feel like there's just a negligence or a lack of care and concern about it. Like, it's there. I know it's there, but, you know, and that's not a good feeling. That I don't like this card coming out next to that. That bothers me. And I feel like it's the one agency. I feel like it's this middle agency here. And so I'm not quite sure who that agency is, but whoever the agency was that was responsible for bringing her car out, I feel like they just weren't, there just wasn't a concern for it. And then things start to change. So we've got the Strength card, Justice, the Knight of Wands, and the Sun card. So the Sun card being at the end and that Justice really make me feel like, you know, whatever rocky start has happened, this makes me feel a little bit more comfortable in saying whatever results come out, I think someone else may end up taking over and it will be okay. I think there's a turn, there's a change, there's something happens between these two cards and this card here. Okay, so it's like there's something that goes on where this case takes a different turn, and it might be the agencies. Something happens here with the agencies. I don't know if one is maybe taken off, or, you know, because all eyes are on this right now, that, you know, somebody else comes in and says, okay, you know, you're out of here, you're done. Because I feel like this is what's been happening and this is what is about to happen, and this couldn't be any better. You could not ask for better cards than this right here. This Knight of Wands is slow and methodical. This is passionate. This is, we want to solve this case and we want to know what happened. We want to know the truth, and we are going to find out the truth. If it takes us a year or 6 months or a week, we are going to make sure that we find answers. All right, that's what this card says to me. Confidence. This is confidence. This is all about confidence and determination. They are absolutely in it to find out what happened. Whoever is in it now. And like I said, it's a change. Something has happened. There's been a change of leadership, I think. And it might be going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's going on out and about where we all know, at least as far as I know. But I think that there's been a change of handover, or there's a change of hands or a handover. And from here on out, I think it'll be different. That's the way I'm looking at this break here. This, from here on, I feel like this particular agency or whatever change happens can be trusted, okay? Can be trusted. This is a trust card to me. I know it's the Strength card, but I always look at it as a trust card. And then of course we have Justice and the Sun card. So those two make me feel like, man, like I said, we've had a rough start. Things didn't start out very well, and there's been a lot of mistakes that have taken place, and a lot of just pure negligence. But I think that is kind of being dealt with behind the scenes, and, you know, possibly a new sheriff in town. All right. I want to ask about the autopsy, if we can trust the results of the autopsy. Can we trust what comes out in regards to the autopsy? Okay, so we've got the Four of Swords. We've got the Chariot, interesting. We've got the Five of Cups reversed. The King of Wands. And let's do one more. We've got the Magician reversed. All right, so honestly, I'm mixed with this particular pull because of this Magician down here on the end. That Magician reversed Again, I feel like there's a change in hands behind the scene. I feel like there's something being done. Something's being done. There's some change happening. Somebody is being put to rest. This is a put to rest card. All right. So whatever is going on here, okay, this agency, whatever this one is I feel like taking a back seat. And a new one is coming in, and they're going to start running the show, and they're going to take this investigation further. Also, when I see this Chariot, I think of the car, the literal car, Kiely's car. There's something important about that car. We don't have all the information that law enforcement does, obviously, but the fact that a car, a literal car is coming out in this reading tells me there is something important about it. Now, it might be the roadside assistance guy as well, but there's something about that car that is very important. I do like this Chariot card because it really has kind of a yin-yang balance kind of feel to it, and I think that car is whatever this card represents about that car, it's going to be kind of a missing puzzle piece that just kind of fits in the right place, and part of the bigger picture is being exposed. So that's good. And, you know, also I feel like there very well could be evidence as far as fingerprints or something. There's something about the car that's important. All right. And then we have the Five of Cups reverse. So the Five of Cups reverse kind of makes me feel like it's that agency. It's that agency, and that's all about embarrassment. That's shame. The Five of Cups is literally, you know, they've done a pretty lousy job. They know they've done a pretty lousy job, and they're really embarrassed about the job that they've done. All right, so there is definite shame. I think that they are literally being told to step down, and they are stepping down graciously. Now, am I saying that it's an official step down? I don't know. Maybe not. You know, there might not be a press conference saying that, you know, this agency or that agency is no longer involved. It might not be that, but behind the scenes, I would say that they're no longer involved because of that Four of Swords. Okay, there's been a change. Like I said, there's been a change in you know, who's running the show, and it's leaving the other group just literally you know, embarrassed to even show their face. They know they messed this case up. I really feel like they know they've messed this case up. This King of Wands to me is that new person. It's that new sheriff in town. Okay, he's the person that this other, and I feel like the king in this particular case represents this other agency, not an actual person, but an actual agency. There's another group that's going to come in, and they're going to have to kind of fix everything that has been messed up. And, you know, sometimes when that happens, especially in a case like this, like an actual case, sometimes you can't fix it. If evidence has been tampered or lost, evidence has been tampered or lost. And so I also look at this Five of Cups as a loss of some things. I really do. I don't look at this as just the law enforcement being embarrassed or humiliated, but I also look at it as a literal loss of evidence that may have really, really helped. And it is right next to that car. So I do feel like the car is very important, but I also feel like there's been important things that have been lost or messed up or you know, whatever, not discovered, or actually I feel more lost or messed up is what I feel that card is. And so this person does kind of have to come in, and this person is not happy. You know, if you look at his face, he's not happy. He looks like he's fed up himself. And so this other agency, I would guess, is fed up. All right, they are literally, I think, disgusted themselves in how the work was done. And then we've got the Magician. So, you know, I could look at this Magician one or two ways. I could look at it as this is, you know, concerning because, you know, the Magician is just that. He's the magician. He makes things happen, right? And, you know, we all have the ability to make things happen, okay? That magician is supposed to be us, right? Whoever we're reading on, or whoever is having a reading done. This is a person who has all the tools available. They may not know it, they may not see it, they may not feel it, they may not even believe it, right? But once they can do all those things, they can actually make anything happen. You have the ability. However, when I'm looking at it from a true crime perspective, I tweak it, and I'm looking at it like, Could this be nefarious behavior, especially when it comes out reversed? Not so much if it comes out upright. I feel like if it comes out upright, then they're using all of their tools at their disposal. They're being creative. They're thinking outside of the box. All right, that's what I would say. But when it comes out reversed, I feel almost the opposite in this particular card. Maybe they're not thinking outside of the box. Maybe they have tools, but they've lost tools or they've messed up tools. And so that's the way I'm looking at it, right? Or it could be just, it could be kind of corruption, and, that's a possibility as well. But I really kind of feel like it's what this agency is left with. This is what they've had to step into, a mess. They've literally had to step into a mess. So they don't have all the tools at their disposal anymore, because some of the tools have been lost or disturbed, okay? Or they're getting it late, or whatever the case may be. And so it's like they literally have to come in, and that's why this guy isn't happy. He's not happy with this. He has to come in and fix what's been wronged, and it's going to take extra time, I think, but it will get done. It will get done. And I think with the Justice and that Sun card, it makes me feel like once it's cleaned up, once this mess is cleaned up, it'll get back on track, and they'll work with what they have. All right, so I do want to, just simply ask or quickly ask, when are we going to get some information? And I do have an Oracle deck here that I don't hardly ever use for these weekly readings, but I do want to ask a time frame. I'm only going to pull one card, though. So when are we going to get some answers? And I know the law enforcement did come out and say something about November 1st, but I would like to just ask, when are we going to get some information? When are we going to hear anything? When are we going to hear anything? And we've got, okay, what does your intuition feel the time frame is? That is the answer. Let me see here. Better to give this more time to come in. All right, so we're not getting a definite, I am not getting a definite time frame for this one. It says it's better to give this more time to come in. So I think that it really makes me think of a moon card, to be honest with you. I think more information is going to be brought out. It's what happens in the dark comes to the light eventually. It might not happen on the time frame that we want it to happen, or it may seem like it's taking a long time, but it will happen. All right, so what else can I bring out here? Let me do this deck here. All right, I just want to ask again, I want to see if this is, again, foul play, even though I feel like we've pulled enough cards to do foul play, or feel like it's foul play, but was this foul play? And will the evidence direct law enforcement to that? Is this foul play? Will there'll be evidence to prove it? Will there be enough evidence to prove it? Will there be enough evidence to prove it? Five of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups reversed. Justice. Okay, so that makes me feel good. So to be honest with you, as far as foul play is concerned, let me back up on that one for a second. With the Five of Pentacles reversed, this particular card is unique. I really, really like it. It's a young girl or a young woman in the woods, and it looks like she's confused and lost, and she's being guided by these little gnomes or these little elves or whatever they are. You can see that they both have both of their hands out, and they're pointing in opposite directions. So it's confusion. It's confusion. This case, I feel like, is number one, confusing. There's a lot of layers and a lot of elements to this case, and I think law enforcement is literally out in the woods with this. And it so happens that It so happens that this party also took place in the woods, so there's some connection to that. But I think that there's a lot of confusion about the party, and a lot of confusion with just everything that's coming in for law enforcement. And so that is something that they're dealing with as well. But there's also the fact that I get from this card a sense of misdirection. Okay, it's like she's being given different answers to the same question. They're not being direct. So it kind of makes me think back to in the beginning of the case where you had Sammy out there doing her little teen meetings and this and that and whatever. I feel like that is something that's been very seriously impacting this case. There's been a lot of misguided direction to law enforcement, and it has really baffled them, and it's really confused them. It's been a misdirected information coming in, or no information at all, and so they've just been kind of left there like, what the hell? What do we do? So there's that. Now, this could also be Kiely as well. Okay, it could be the fact that this started at the party, and I really do feel like it started at the party. I don't want to really get too much into that kind of a reading, because I would rather have that reading just be on Kiely specifically, and this is more of an investigation reading. So I feel like there's a lot going on here that we are not seeing behind the scenes, and there's some I believe there's some nefarious behaviors from people involved in it, whether it be friends or whether it be parents or tips that are coming in. But I feel like the police have been intentionally misled, okay? And they are having to sift through all of that. We've got the Queen of Cups, and so we've got a feminine energy coming out now. It's interesting, too, because the Justice card in this particular deck is also a female. So there's a female energy. But the Queen of Cups is reversed, and I don't know if there's a female leader in law enforcement, or if there's somebody that a female. I don't feel like this is Sammy or anything like that, because a queen to me would be a little bit higher up on the hierarchy than Sammy. So this is someone else. This could actually be Kiely's mom as well, the Queen of Cups, because this is distress, right? She looks like she's in distress. She's crying and she's upset, and so it actually makes me feel like it's Kiely's mom, to be honest with you. And this is her whole response to this entire investigation. Not only is she trying to deal with the fact that she just lost her daughter, okay, but also just the way the investigation is going, the online craziness of it, the YouTube craziness of it, and I feel like it's really, really having a negative effect on her. I'm happy to see that there is somebody by her side that can, console her and be there for her, because I do think that that's important, and she needs that. But I think that this whole thing has taken its toll on her, and that's obviously to be expected, but it's almost like a double whammy. Everything that's happening is like a double whammy. And I think that the mom is wanting justice. The mom wants justice. I don't think that there's anything going on with mom or dad or stepdad or grandpa or anything like that. They are just a family that is hurting, and they want answers as well. I feel like with mom coming up, this doesn't just involve law enforcement anymore, because I feel like this is mom, and so it makes me feel like mom could have been possibly misguided as well. So who's doing the misguiding? Who's pointing people in the wrong direction intentionally? All right, so let's ask that. Who's pointing law enforcement and possibly mom in the wrong direction? Who's responsible for this confusion? Who's responsible for this? Who's doing this? All right, we've got the King of Cups. All right, so interesting, because I'm looking at something else in that card, which I'll go over in a second. All right, so, okay. So when I ask who is doing the misguided, information, the first thing I noticed when I pulled this King of Cups were the kids. I noticed the kids. The kids are coming out. The kids. All right. So I don't think that these kids, I feel like these kids definitely know exactly what they're doing. These kids know exactly what they're doing. I don't think it's not going to fly in the end, right? Because I think that these kids think that they're smarter than this king, to be honest with you. I think that king is law enforcement. And I feel like the kids are the friend circle that we're dealing with in this case. And there's 3 of them. So that's interesting. We've got, 2 guys and a girl, maybe. But I feel like there's been a lot of misinformation from these party goers or these young kids or young adults or whatever they are. And that's making things extra challenging. And it's been happening to mom as well. So think about that. If it's been happening to mom, who is mom in contact with? Who's the kids that would be around mom that would possibly give her misinformation? It has to be somebody that would be in Kiely's circle, I would think, right? I have a couple in mind, one in particular, especially 1 or 2. So I feel like that's a concern. That's a concern. But I do feel like it's all going to come out. That's the good thing. So it's all going to come out because we've got this Ace of Wands. So that to me is like a new beginning. That is literally a new beginning card. So I'm going to actually end it on that one. I am going to pull an oracle card just to end it. But this makes me feel good because remember in the beginning, I did say that I felt like there's a new kind of takeover. There's this new sheriff in town, okay? This to me represents that new takeover, all right? It's like literally handing over the torch. You're handing over the torch to the next person. And that's exactly what this wand is doing. And I think that once this is done, all of that misinformation, that misguided misinformation is going to be cleared out, but it is going to take a while. All right. It's not going to happen overnight, but I feel like justice is going to prevail in this case. And I feel like whatever happens from here on out, we might see a difference. We might see things change a little bit because I do feel like there's something here going on behind the scenes. But I would bet that we don't hear about it officially. I could be mistaken. Will we hear about this officially? If there is a change in leadership, will we hear about this? If there's a change in leadership, will we hear about this? The Sun card reversed. I would say probably not. I would say probably not. And I don't know how I feel about that because number one, I think that they would, if they didn't say anything, let's say somebody takes over, they might come out and they might not want to come out and say anything because, out of humiliation and for the other group or whatever agency. But that at the same time would at least give people a little bit of hope that things are going to be different. So it would kind of settle our minds a little bit, but I don't look for them to do that. Not with that particular card. I don't look for them to do that. I feel like it's going to happen behind the scenes and it's going to happen quietly and potentially we'll never know. We'll never know. And I think that it's also going to reignite the investigation because I think that there's been things that the current agency or whoever, because we do hear, we've always heard that there's agencies working together, right? That they're working together. I don't see it that way. I don't think that they were. And I think that that's the problem. I think that there was one particular agency that was kind of taking the lead on it, and that agency really botched it. And so now it's kind of being handed over to somebody else, but it's going to be handed over to somebody else on the down low, and we're not really going to know. But I do think it's going to bring results. So that's a good thing. All right, so let me pull an oracle card because I am curious just to kind of see something to end this reading on a positive note, whether it be a message from Kiely. It could be a message from Kiely to her family member, her mom, or it could be a message directly related to the investigation. So let's see what this is. This fell out. Oh my God. Justice. Wow. Justice. What are the odds? Usually when I use this Oracle deck, I only pull one. What are the odds? I mean, this is a really great card to end on. Archangel Regel. Fight for justice and equality. Rulings made in your favor. Don't give up. So I really do feel like this is a good sign. I feel like this is a change in this investigation. Things are changing. But it's happening behind the scenes. It's happening behind the scenes. But I do think that we are going to have answers, and we're going to start seeing things happen. It may not happen right away. It might not be this week or next week. But it is going to happen, okay? So we have to just be patient. All right, guys. I'm going to end it there. Woohoo! I kept it under 40 minutes. That is crazy for me. That is crazy for me. I don't even know what to do. I feel like I should pull out another deck. No, just kidding. All right, so I will have another video up hopefully this weekend. I'm trying to do another one. I would like to do one on what is happening with the royal family. Kind of sad. I follow royal news, and so I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe this. So I'm kind of curious to do a reading maybe on King Charles III. Take some time getting used to saying that. King Charles III. And I absolutely adore Kate and William, the new Prince and Princess of Wales. So I would kind of like to do, just out of my own curiosity, a reading on how is King Charles going to step into this new role, and what is the overall outlook of that. So I might do that one tomorrow. I do have to do some things for Etsy and make a few things, but I'm going to try to squeeze in a reading as well. So anyway, guys, thank you again for being here, and let's pray that Kiely does get some justice. I feel like in my heart she's going to get justice. All right, I will see you guys the next time. Bye.